All right. So we're going to be, this is for the Triad Wars 15 finals. We're going to be picking which decks we want out of FF6, 7, 8, and 9's decks. So we're each going to send our two preferred decks to Dalamar. He will look at our selections. If we have completely different selections, then he will randomize who gets if we have completely different selections, say I choose 6 and 7, he chooses 8 and 9, then we will each get the decks of our choice. I will get 6 and 7, he will get 8 and 9. That's if there's no overlap. If we both pick the same decks, say we both pick 6 and 7, then one of us will randomly get 6, one of us will randomly get 7, and then to make sure we each get one of the decks we want, and then one of us will get each of 8 and 9. That will also be random. Finally, if we both want one deck that's the same and one deck that's different, say I want 6 and 7 and he wants 6 and 8, then I will get 7. I'm the only one who wanted 7. He will get 8. And we will coin flip for who gets 6 and who gets 9. So today we're just going to look at the decks and I'm going to figure out which I want to request. I don't think there's any sense in gaming the system. Like, I think he'll pick 8 and 9, so I'll take 7 and 8 to make sure I get 7. I think that's just bad strategy because if I think 9 is better than 7, then I'm giving him the better deck, right? I don't think this is worth doing. We just want to pick the two best decks. The level 5s are probably more important than the level 4s, so we should be looking at the level 5s. Keep in mind there are no 7/7s allowed. Now, FF6 looks really weak. 6637 is the only kind of quite powerful level 5. There's some other cards that are like runnable, but nothing that jumps out. If we look at FF7, we get 6763 and 2667. 766s are my preferred. In general, I prefer 6763s to 6762s. However, 6762s might have more value in a world where there are no 7/7s. For instance, if we compare Elastoid 6267 to FF9 Behemoth 6367, we can see that in the direct matchup, Elastoid is going to have the flips way more than Behemoth will. We also want to note there is no same, there is only plus. Not sure how that affects the decision making here, but in general, I think Elastoid may play better than Behemoth will. And so that leads me to think that in general, I probably have a preference for this card over this card, trying to highlight so you can see it. But in this specific set, I'm not sure that's still the case. So, things to think about. FF6 is one card I'd be happy to run, and I'm not super delighted. I always like the stuff where the best number is surrounded a bit more. So 2676 is better than 2667. Similarly, 6637 is worse than 7636. So one card. FF7 has two cards I'd want to run, 2667 and 6763. FF8 has two cards I want to run in 6627 and 6267. And FF9 has three cards I'd be happy to run, 6367, 2676, and 6736. Now, I do think 6367 has a bad matchup against 6267, so it's possible FF8, even though it has fewer good cards, given that I'll be able to pair it with something else, might come out okay. Now, if you're going to get stuck with FF6, right? And there's a fair chance I get stuck with FF6. I think it's about 50%, right? I think there is no chance he picks FF6 as his preferred deck, right? If there is no chance of that, then either we have the same deck picks, in which case there's coin flips, or we have slightly different deck picks, in which case there's still a coin flip for who gets FF6. Therefore, there's going to be a coin flip for who gets FF6 unless its level 4s are really good. So what I want is to make sure my other deck does not have something redundant with 6637, because I'm almost certainly going to end up having to run that, if 50% of the time. FF7's cards do not overlap with that. FF8's cards do. FF8 goes down in value because the FF6 and FF8 pairing is not a great pairing. If that's my pairing, I might have to run something like Tonberry King or something like that, which is a weaker card, right? So I think FF8 goes down a bit in value there. So right now I'm thinking also FF9 has a redundant card with 6637, but because FF9 has two other cards I'm very happy to run, FF9 retains value. So I'm thinking FF9 is still the best deck based on the level 5s, followed by 8 and 7. But I was thinking 8 was clearly ahead. I really like 6267. I'm not as sure it's ahead now. And 6763 on FF7 might be quite good. So I think looking at the level 5s, there's a case for any of FF7, 8, and 9, and FF6 is not appealing. All right, let's look at the level 4s. FF6. FF6 has quite good level 4s. It has 3674, which normally I don't think 7643s are that much better than 7632s. In general, them plussing stuff is not that big a deal. But when you start adding in level 5s, the 3 and 4 often get a little more to play off of, and sometimes that card improves cross levels in a way 7632s don't. It also has 7236 and 4276. These are all good cards. FF6 has 3 level 4s I like. Now, we might be wanting to think about how these combine with the level 5s that are possible. But with 3 corners covered, there's ground to maneuver, right? There's ground to fit around the other stuff. Okay. The rule set, by the way, is no cards with 2 7s must use 2 level 4s. It's level 4 and 5. Sudden death is also in effect. We're not going to worry about that. FF7 has horrendous level 4s. Now, if every other deck has at least 2 good level 4s, that's not that big a problem. 7164 is probably the cream of the crop here. There might be a case for 6731 or 2167, but these are clearly giving up value compared to FF6s. So FF6 has 3 cards I'm happy to run. FF7, 0. It's kind of close. Like, there are 3 cards I could run, but it's 0. FF8 is a powerhouse on level 4. 2367, 2763, 4627 is playable, 3736 is playable, 6273 is playable. So there are 3 horizontal verticals. There's 7316, which is already as good as anything FF7 has, and it has 2 really good corners. I also think, I haven't rethought this since the new decks were added, but I thought there was a chance, if you look at the level 5s, think about what can be captured. So 6637 can capture some 7s to the left. Okay? 2667 can capture some 6s. 6763 can capture some 7s up and down. 6627 can capture some 6s. 6267 can capture some 6s. 6367 can capture some 7s up and down. 2676 grabs 6s. And 6736 grabs some 7s to the right. In general, that means A, more 7s are grabbed up and down than left-right, by a lot. 7s left and right are kind of hard to take. And without same, they'll also be harder to set up against. So, 7s to the left and right might have more value than we think initially, in which case FF8's ability to play 7s left and right could be a really powerful effect. Worth thinking about. FF9 has 3672, which can take 7s left and right, and 1764 and 6147, which are not quite a pair. For some reason, I remember them being a pair. 4761 must be in a different deck. But this is 3 pretty good 7-6 corners. FF9 is, I think, pretty clearly the best deck, and almost certainly we are both going to pick it. The question is whether we pick FF8 or FF7 with it. Once you consider the level 4s, I think it's gotta be level 8, even though I'm not that convinced it's actually that much better on the level 5s, though I think Elastoid might be sneaky great on this rule set. I think it might be sneaky great. So I think the pick is just FF8 and 9, and I'm going to send to Dalamar now that those are my selections. Yeah, I suspect he will pick FF8 and 9 as well, and then it will be randomized such that one of us gets one of FF8 and 9, one of us gets one of 6 and 7. Obviously, 6 is worse here, but not the end of the world. Especially with sudden death in effect, you are not locked into the cards for that long. So there you go. There's my Triad Wars 15 finals hand selection preparation, I guess.